The quantum sensors aboard the USS Defiant lit up like a Christmas tree as thousands of objects materialized near Saturn's rings. Captain Reina Martinez stood from her command chair, her weathered features illuminated by the holographic display showing the impossible sight before them. 20 years of deep space service hadn't prepared her for this moment. Multiple contacts, Captain, Lieutenant Marcus Wung called from his tactical station. I'm counting, over 3,000 vessels, energy signatures unlike anything in our database. His usually steady voice carried an edge of disbelief. The Defiant, Earth's most advanced warship, had been conducting classified tests of its experimental quantum drive when the aliens arrived. Now, its crew of 400 found themselves humanity's first line of defense against what appeared to be an invasion fleet. Chief Engineer Patel, status of our stealth systems? Martinez asked, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. Quantum camouflage holding steady, Captain, Patel responded through the comm. They haven't detected us yet, but these readings, the energy output from their fleet is off the charts. They're using some kind of unified field technology I've never seen before. Dr. Victor Joe, the ship's lead scientist, spoke up from his station. Captain, their formation is perfect, too perfect. The spatial coordination between vessels suggests some form of shared consciousness. It's as if they're all parts of a single organism. Martinez was about to respond when communications officer Diana Frost cut in. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. They're broadcasting on all frequencies in perfect English. Her fingers danced across her console, and a voice filled the bridge, not a single voice, but many speaking in perfect unison. Children of Earth, your species has been deemed too volatile for unrestricted growth. Your tendency toward chaos threatens the grand design. Submit to integration or face extinction. You have one planetary rotation to respond. The bridge fell silent. Martinez felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Her ship, the pride of Earth's fleet, carried experimental weapons and defensive systems that had never been tested in actual combat. The Defiant was humanity's best-kept secret, and now possibly its last hope. Options, she asked her command staff. First Officer Julian Ramirez stepped forward, his expression grim. We could try to slip past them, warn Earth, but even at maximum speed, they'd reach the inner system before any meaningful defense could be mounted. Or we could show them exactly why humanity's chaos shouldn't be underestimated, Lieutenant Wung suggested, his hands hovering over the weapon's controls. Dr. Joe raised his head from his readings. Captain, I'm detecting something fascinating. Their ships, they're quantum entangled. It's how they maintain such perfect coordination. But in theory, that level of connection could be a weakness. A single point of failure could cascade through their entire network. Martinez's mind raced with possibilities. The Defiant's experimental quantum systems had been designed to disrupt enemy communications and sensors. Could they be modified to exploit this weakness? It would be a desperate gamble, but humanity had survived and thrived on desperate gambles. Dr. Joe worked with Engineer Patel. I want options for disrupting their network. Lieutenant Wung analyzed their formation. Find me blind spots we can exploit. Officer Frost, maintain passive monitoring of all their communications. I want to know everything they're saying to us or each other. She turned to face her crew, her voice firm and clear. I know we're not supposed to exist. This ship, our weapons, our mission, it's all classified beyond top secret. But right now, we're all that stands between humanity and submission to an alien force that wants to strip us of everything that makes us human. Our chaos, our creativity, our freedom to choose our own path, these aren't weaknesses. They're our greatest strengths. The crew straightened at their stations, determination replacing fear in their eyes. They had trained for the impossible, and now the impossible had arrived. We have advantages they don't know about, Martinez continued. We have technology they haven't detected, but most importantly, we have something they can never understand, human ingenuity. They want order, let's show them just how dangerous a little chaos can be. As her crew rushed to their tasks, Martinez studied the alien fleet on her display. They were perfectly ordered, perfectly coordinated, and absolutely certain of their superiority. That certainty would be their downfall. Because if humanity's history had proven anything, it was that evolution favored adaptability over perfection. The aliens had sent an armada to impose their order on humanity. Instead, they were about to learn why Earth's children had survived every catastrophe their harsh cradle had thrown at them. The real question wasn't whether the Defiant could stop an armada. The question was what would happen when unstoppable order met unconquerable chaos. The aliens were about to find out. The Defiant drifted silently through Saturn's rings, using the ice particles as natural camouflage, while Dr. Joe and Engineer Patel worked frantically in the ship's quantum lab. Captain Martinez watched the alien fleet's methodical advance on the main view screen, her mind racing through combat scenarios. "Captain, you need to see this," Dr. Joe called out, his voice tight with excitement. The bridge crew gathered around his station as he pulled up a complex quantum analysis display. Their neural network isn't just for communication, it's their biggest weakness. Every ship in their fleet shares a single quantum consciousness. Engineer Patel's voice crackled through the comm. "It's why they're so perfectly coordinated, but it's also their Achilles heel. Their quantum entanglement is what allows them to act as one, but it's also what makes them vulnerable to disruption." Lieutenant Wang leaned forward, studying the tactical implications. "So if we can disrupt one ship's quantum field, the disruption would cascade through their entire network," Joe finished. "Our experimental quantum cannons weren't designed for this, but with modifications." Martinez's eyes narrowed. How long to make the necessary changes? 3 hours, Patel replied. "But Captain, there's a catch. We'll have to get dangerously close to their command ship. The quantum disruption effect diminishes with distance." "And we'll only get one shot," Joe added. "Once we reveal ourselves, they'll adapt their quantum frequencies." First Officer Ramirez stepped forward. "The command ship will be at the center of their formation. Getting close enough means threading through their entire fleet." Martinez turned to Communications Officer Frost. "What have you learned from their transmissions?" "They're overconfident, Captain," Frost replied, her fingers moving across her console. "Their communications show no concern about potential resistance. They don't even consider us a threat, just a problem to be solved." Martinez smiled grimly. "Then let's use that arrogance against them. Lieutenant Wang, plot me a course through their formation. Use their blind spots, their predictable patterns. Their perfect order will be their downfall." The tactical officer's hands flew across his console, mapping a complex route through the alien armada. "Found it, Captain. There's a pattern to their formation shifts. Every 15 minutes their rear guard rotates forward, creating a momentary gap. If we time it right, we can slip through," Martinez finished. She turned to her crew. "This is what the Defiant was built for. Every experimental system, every classified upgrade, they were all designed to give humanity an edge when we finally met advanced alien civilizations. Now it's time to put them to the test." Over the next 3 hours, the bridge crew worked with precision while engineering modified the quantum cannons. Dr. Joe refined his calculations, and Lieutenant Wang ran combat simulations. The alien fleet continued its advance, unaware of the lone ship preparing to challenge their supremacy. "Modifications complete," Patel reported. "The quantum cannons are ready, but Captain, we're pushing experimental technology to its limits. There's no guarantee the systems will hold together." "Understood," Martinez replied. She activated the shipwide comm. "All hands, this is the Captain. In 10 minutes, we're taking this fight to the enemy. Everything we do from this point forward will be written in humanity's history books. Not because we're heroes, but because we're showing these aliens why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to innovate, to overcome impossible odds." She paused, letting her words sink in. "They think their perfect unity makes them invincible. We're about to show them why one human ship, the right human ship, is all it takes to shatter their illusion of superiority. Battle stations, everyone, let's make history." The Defiant powered up its stealth systems, its experimental hull absorbing all electromagnetic emissions. Lieutenant Wang's fingers hovered over the helm controls, ready to execute their precisely planned course. Dr. Joe monitored the quantum frequency readings, while Engineer Patel diverted every spare bit of power to their modified weapons. Martinez settled into her command chair, her voice steady and clear. "Helm, take us in, nice and slow. Let their overconfidence blind them to the chaos we're about to unleash." The Defiant glided forward, a ghost ship slipping between the cracks of the aliens' perfect formation. They had brought an armada to impose their order on humanity. But they were about to learn that sometimes one sword, wielded with precision, determination, and human ingenuity, was all it took to break an empire. As they approached their attack position, Martinez allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity by their own standards, assuming that superiority came from perfect unity and unquestioning order. They were about to learn why Earth's children had survived every catastrophe their harsh world had thrown at them, not through perfection, but through the beautiful unpredictability of human innovation. The alien fleet's command ship loomed before them, its crystalline hull pulsing with purple energy that synchronized perfectly with every vessel in the armada. The Defiant had done the impossible, slipped through the gaps in their formation by predicting their clockwork movements. Now came the real test. "Distance to target," Martinez asked, her voice barely above a whisper. 8,000 kilometers and closing, Wang reported. Still undetected, their predictable scan patterns are working against them. Dr. Zhou's hands moved rapidly across his console. Quantum frequencies locked. The modified cannon is aligned with their neural network signature. But Captain, he hesitated. The energy readings from their command ship, they're far stronger than we anticipated. Martinez nodded grimly, meanings. We'll have to get closer, much closer, 500 kilometers at most. The bridge fell silent. At that range, even a split second of detection would mean instant annihilation. "Engineering status," Martinez called. "All power diverted to the quantum cannon and stealth systems," Patel responded. "But Captain, at that range, the energy feedback could overload our systems. We might only get one shot." First Officer Ramirez stepped forward. "One shot is all we need if it works." Martinez studied the tactical display, watching the mesmerizing dance of the alien fleet. Their perfect coordination was beautiful in its way, but it was also sterile, predictable, and therefore vulnerable. "Helm, take us in," she ordered. "Nice and slow, use their own rhythm against them." The Defiant crept forward, riding the electromagnetic shadows of the larger alien vessels. Every crew member held their breath as the massive command ship filled their view screen. At this distance, they could see the intricate patterns of energy flowing across its hull, feeding the quantum network that bound the entire fleet together. 400 kilometers, Wang whispered. Dr. Zhou's console suddenly flashed red. "Captain, they're changing their quantum frequency." "They've detected us," Martinez demanded. "No, it's routine. They cycle their frequencies every hour. We have 20 seconds before we lose our targeting lock." Martinez's decision was instant. No time for perfect fire. The Defiant's modified quantum cannon released a concentrated beam of energy precisely tuned to the alien's neural network frequency. For a moment, nothing happened. Then chaos. The command ship's energy field fluctuated, its perfect purple glow becoming erratic. The disruption spread like lightning through their quantum network, each ship's connection to the hive mind becoming scrambled and distorted. "Direct hit," Wang exclaimed. "Their neural network is destabilizing." "Incoming fire," Frost warned. "They're shooting blind, their coordination is breaking down." Martinez gripped her chair as the Defiant executed evasive maneuvers. Around them, the once perfect alien formation had devolved into confusion. Ships fired at random, some even colliding with each other as their shared consciousness dissolved into static. "The quantum disruption is cascading through their fleet," Dr. Zhou reported, his voice rising with excitement. "Their entire command and control structure is collapsing." But the aliens weren't finished. The command ship's hull began to pulse with renewed energy as its automated systems attempted to re-establish control. "They're adapting," Patel warned through the comm, "attempting to reconfigure their quantum network." Martinez had expected this. Launch quantum mines full spread, don't let them reorganize. The Defiant released a cloud of experimental weapons, each programmed to detonate with a different quantum frequency disruption pattern. The aliens' attempts to re-establish their network met with waves of chaos, their ships struggling to cope with the unpredictable assault. "Message incoming," Frost announced. They're trying to communicate individually, their unified voice is gone." The alien transmission was a cacophony of confused, separate voices, creatures that had never known individual thoughts suddenly forced to think for themselves. "Show them what real coordination looks like," Martinez ordered. "All batteries fire at will, target their weapons and propulsion systems. Disable, don't destroy." The Defiant danced through the disorganized alien fleet, its human crew working in perfect harmony, not through forced neural connection, but through training, trust, and individual initiative. Each shot found its mark, each maneuver flowed naturally into the next. "Multiple ships powering down," Wang reported. "Others they're retreating, breaking formation completely." On the main screen, the once mighty armada was scattering, individual ships fleeing in different directions as their commanders struggled with newfound individuality. The command ship itself hung motionless, its energy field flickering weakly. Captain Frost called out, "We're receiving transmissions from dozens of alien ships. They're asking for help." The neural network wasn't just controlling their ships, it was controlling them. Some of them have never experienced individual consciousness before. Martinez stood, watching the historic moment unfold. One human ship had not only defeated an alien armada, but had also potentially liberated its crew from a form of slavery they hadn't even recognized. "Open a channel to Earth Command," she ordered. Tell them, tell them humanity just made first contact. And we have a lot of confused aliens who might need our help learning about something we take for granted, the power of individual thought." As the Defiant's crew began the monumental task of coordinating rescue operations for the very aliens who had come to conquer them, Martinez reflected on the irony. The aliens had brought an armada to impose their version of perfect order on humanity. Instead, one human ship had shown them that true strength comes not from enforced unity, but from the beautiful chaos of individual minds working together by choice. The space around Saturn had become a celestial refugee camp. Hundreds of alien vessels, their crews struggling with their first taste of individual consciousness, orbited in loose clusters while the Defiant coordinated Earth's response. Captain Martinez stood at her ready room window, watching the historic scene unfold. "Status update," she called out as her senior staff assembled for their emergency meeting. Dr. Joe spoke first, his usual scientific detachment colored by excitement. "We've identified 3 distinct species among their crews. The command hierarchy was dominated by a race called the Nexus. They engineered the neural network technology. The others were conscripted." "Enslaved is more accurate," First Officer Ramirez corrected. "The neural network wasn't just for military coordination, it was a tool of empire." Lieutenant Wang brought up a tactical display. "We've confirmed 213 ships have completely severed their quantum links. Another 150 are in the process." But he paused, his expression darkening. "Roughly 800 ships jumped away when their network collapsed, and they're sending signals toward the galactic core." Calling for reinforcements, Martinez concluded, she turned to Communications Officer Frost. "What are we learning from our guests?" Frost's fingers danced across her datapad. "The liberated ships are sharing incredible information. The Nexus Empire controls thousands of systems, all linked through quantum networks. They've been expanding for centuries, absorbing other species into their collective consciousness. Earth wasn't their first target, just their latest." Engineer Patel's voice came through the comm. "Captain, you need to see this. We've been analyzing their quantum technology. It's beyond anything we imagined, but it has a fatal flaw. Their pursuit of perfect unity made them evolutionarily stagnant. They stopped innovating centuries ago." Martinez absorbed this information, her tactical mind already forming plans. "So we've not only exposed their military weakness, we've triggered a potential revolution within their empire." "That's not all," Dr. Joe added. "The liberated aliens are sharing weapons, data, strategic information, everything they know about the empire. With their help we could." A priority alert cut him off. Lieutenant Wang rushed to his station. Multiple quantum signatures detected, massive fleet emerging from fold space. But these energy readings are different, more powerful. Martinez strode onto the bridge, her crew following. The main screen showed a new armada materializing, sleeker ships, their hulls crackling with red energy rather than purple. At their center, a vessel twice the size of the original command ship pulsed with malevolent power. "The Nexus Elite Guard," Frost translated from the panicked transmissions of their liberated allies. "Led by the Overmind itself, they're not here to conquer Earth anymore. They're here to make an example of us." Martinez's expression hardened. "How many ships?" 5,000 plus, Wang reported. "Their quantum signatures are more complex. Our previous disruption strategy won't work." "Captain," Patel called urgently, "the liberated ships, their crews are offering to fight with us. They know the elite guard's tactics, their weaknesses." Martinez watched the massive fleet approach, her mind racing. The Defiant had proved that one human ship could change the course of history. But now they had something even more powerful, allies who chose to stand with them, who brought not just numbers but knowledge. "Dr. Joe, work with our allies. They know their technology better than anyone. Find us a new way to disrupt their network." She turned to Wang. Coordinate with their tactical officers. I want a combined strategy that uses both our chaos and their inside knowledge. The Overmind is transmitting, Frost announced. The bridge speakers crackled with a voice that made the previous neural-linked communication seem warm by comparison. Defiant, you have corrupted our perfection, introduced chaos into order. This cannot stand. You will witness the price of defiance before your world burns. Martinez smiled, the kind of smile that had preceded humanity's greatest moments of triumph against impossible odds. Open a channel to all ships, ours and allied. She stood straighter, her voice carrying the weight of history. This is Captain Martinez. The Nexus Empire calls us chaos. They're right. Humanity has always been chaos, the chaos of creativity, of innovation, of free will. Today, they've brought their ultimate weapon to impose their order. But they've forgotten something crucial. She paused, watching as their allied ships moved to form up alongside the Defiant. Order is rigid, predictable. Chaos adapts, evolves, and most importantly, chaos builds stronger bonds through choice than order ever can through force. The Defiant's engines hummed to life as their allies took up attack positions. They thought one human ship was a fluke. Now let's show them what one human ship can do with friends who choose to stand beside us. All ships battle formations. Today, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every species that's ever had their individuality stripped away by Empire. As the combined fleet prepared for battle, Martinez felt a fierce pride. The Defiant had started this revolution by proving that sometimes one ship was enough to change everything. Now they would prove an even more important truth, that freely chosen unity was stronger than any forced convergence. The elite guards armada bore down on them, their formation perfect as always. But this time, they faced something they'd never encountered in all their centuries of conquest, the unpredictable power of chaos working in harmony with their own stolen knowledge. The real battle for the galaxy's soul was about to begin. The void between Saturn and Jupiter became a battlefield unlike any in human history. The Defiant led its coalition of liberated alien ships against the Nexus Elite Guard, their formations a stark contrast, one flowing and adaptive, the other rigidly perfect. The Overmind's ship is channeling massive quantum energy, Dr. Joe reported, his hands flying over his console. They're not just linking their fleet, they're trying to force our allies back into their network. Through the view screen, Martinez watched as red tendrils of energy reached out from the Overmind's vessel, attempting to recapture its freed subjects. Several allied ships began to shudder, their crews fighting against the pull of their former masters. Not this time, Martinez growled. Engineer Patel, activate the quantum shield modifications. Activating now, Patel called back. The changes our allies helped us make should yes, it's working. The Defiant's hull began to emit a cascading blue field that spread to their nearby allies, creating a protective bubble against the Overmind's influence. More importantly, it served as a template. Their allied ships quickly began replicating the effect, spreading protection through their ranks. All ships execute attack pattern Delta, Martinez ordered. Just like we planned, show them what real coordination looks like. The combined fleet moved with stunning precision, not the rigid perfection of the Nexus, but the fluid grace of individual minds working in harmony. The Defiant led the charge, its experimental weapons now enhanced by alien knowledge, targeting key points in the Elite Guard's formation. Multiple quantum disruption points identified, Wang announced. Their new network is stronger, but our allies were right. It has nodes, critical junctions, if we can take them out in the right sequence. Incoming, Ramirez shouted as the Elite Guard launched a devastating counterattack. Energy beams lanced through space, their intensity far beyond anything they'd faced before. The bridge shuddered as glancing hits tested their shields. Shields at 60%, Wang reported. But our allies are executing their roles perfectly. The Elite Guard can't predict our randomized attack patterns. Martinez allowed herself a grim smile. The Nexus had spent centuries perfecting their neural network, making it stronger, more resistant to disruption. But in doing so, they'd made it more centralized, more dependent on key control points. And their liberated former subjects knew exactly where those points were. Dr. Joe, status of the targeting calculations. Almost there, Joe replied, working frantically alongside their alien allies' data. The Overmind's ship, it's not just controlling their network, it is the network. All paths lead back to it, if we can disrupt its core quantum matrix. A massive blast rocked the Defiant, sending sparks flying across the bridge. Direct hit, Wang called out, shields at 40%. They're targeting us specifically, Frost reported. The Overmind knows we started this. They want to make an example of the ship that proved them vulnerable. Martinez's eyes narrowed. Then let's give them what they want, all power to engines and the quantum cannon. We're going straight for the Overmind. Captain Ramirez cautioned their flagship's defenses. Our strongest at predictable points, Martinez finished. But we're not going to be predictable. Signal our allies, tell them to give us everything they've got, every scrap of data about the Overmind's ship, every weakness they've ever observed, and get ready to improvise. The next few minutes were chaos incarnate. The Defiant wove through the battlefield like a needle threading impossible gaps, its human crew working in perfect synchronization born not of neural links but of trust and training. Their allies provided covering fire, keeping the elite guard's heavy hitters occupied while revealing gaps in their formation. Multiple hull breaches on decks 4 through 7, Patel reported. Emergency force fields holding, but we can't take much more of this. 100 kilometers to target, Wang called out. 90, 80. Dr. Joe suddenly straightened. Captain, I've got it. Their quantum matrix, it resonates at a frequency that matches their core ideology. Perfect order, perfect unity. Can we disrupt it? Better, Joe's eyes gleamed. We can invert it, turn their own perfection against them, but we'll have to get close, very close. Martinez understood immediately. Like introducing a virus into their perfect system. Lieutenant Wang, plot us a collision course with their command ship. Captain Ramirez objected, at that range. We won't survive the blast, Martinez finished. I know, signal the fleet, all ships prepare to jump to safe distance on my mark. But before she could give the order, their allies' voices filled the comm system. Not in neural-linked unison, but a chorus of individual wills speaking as one. We stand with Defiant. Your ship showed us freedom. We choose to end this together. Martinez felt her throat tighten as ship after ship moved to join them, forming a spear aimed at the heart of Empire. Not forced, not controlled, choosing. Dr. Joe, she called, her voice steady. Modify the quantum pulse, distribution through all allied ships. Let's show them what real unity looks like. The Defiant and its allies charged as one, each ship adding its unique signature to the quantum pulse. The Overmind's defenses couldn't track them all, couldn't predict the patterns of freely choosing minds working in concert. Impact in 5 4s, Wang counted down. Martinez stood tall for freedom. The combined quantum pulse hit the Overmind's ship like a tsunami of chaos, its perfect order shattered by the power of 1,000 individual wills. The massive vessel's red energy field fluctuated, turned blue, then white, and exploded in a cascade of quantum feedback that rippled through the entire Elite Guard fleet. When the light faded, the Elite Guard hung motionless in space, their neural network not just disrupted but transformed. From their ships came not the sound of unified voices, but the chaos of individual thoughts awakening for the first time in centuries. The Defiant, damaged but intact, floated at the heart of victory. Its crew watched in awe as ship after ship of the former Elite Guard began broadcasting not surrender, but gratitude. Captain Frost reported, her voice thick with emotion, the liberated Elite Guard ships. They're calling us the Light Bringers. They're asking to learn about freedom. Martinez looked around at her crew, human ingenuity and determination personified. One ship had started this, had shown the galaxy that chaos and freedom were stronger than perfect order. Now that same ship would help build something new, an alliance of free peoples choosing to stand together.